Is it recording?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Oh, wait, this is the wrong. 3 new things you learned from this unit. I'll start. I learned the compassion fatigue trajectory phases. I thought that was kind of interesting. And that, this is kind of obvious, but that diet actually really does go hand in hand with stress and like burnout. I knew that, but it also was good to actually read it. Diet and exercise. And then mindfulness meditation as an intervention was new to me as of like this semester.
Mine are eerily similar. Just all the definitions between like burnout and compassion fatigue, vicarious trauma and secondary trauma. Like I mean, we've gotten this far in the semester and I've never seen them just like laid out like definition by definition. So that was just really helpful in just knowing when we start to see those signs in ourselves, what we can kind of do to combat that. And then nutritional psychiatry. I've heard about using like diet to control depression and anxiety. And I have a friend who has bipolar and he just doesn't respond well to medication. So he's trying to use just diet and exercise to control it. And so far it seems to be going well, but he hasn't, I don't know, he's just at a stable level right now, but he hasn't really gone through any like highs or lows. So we'll kind of see how that pans out. But I hadn't done any reading about it, so it was nice to just see that it included that. And I've just really enjoyed everything the Herzog text brings to the conversation. What was it last week? Or it wasn't last week. I think it was the week before. What the chapter was on. I forget. It doesn't help. I wrote it down. Oh, or no. That was the week before. Never mind. Shannon, you're next.
Yes, I kind of agree with both of you. The 3 things I learned was, I guess, the difference between the terms, compassion fatigue, burnout, PTSD. I like that they throw that aspect in there. That was really helpful as I'm starting a new job on Monday, and it's going to be a lot of PTSD, so that was very helpful. The nutritional component with the different diets and sleep hygiene. I guess I was really interested in that because I feel like I never get enough sleep. I don't know if it's just me or that I'm carrying many hats at one time. 1 minute. Sorry. I was talking about the sleep hygiene component. That's just always interesting to me. We learned a lot in that with undergrad during psychology courses, and I just always thought that interesting. So learned a lot more about it during the unit.
What job are you starting?
I have accepted a position with Carl Perkins. Have you guys heard of that? It's the Carl Perkins Civic Center. It's an exchange for child abuse. Pretty much working with the parents or caregivers of children who've been sexually abused. So yeah, PTSD is a big thing there, and of course, CBT is something that we learned through coursework and stuff, and I've used a lot of that in my internship, but they used a trauma-focused CBT, so that's something that I'm going to be learning. So I really enjoyed the little part in there with the PTSD. So yeah, I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, congrats.
Thank you.
That's really exciting. And just remember your self-care.
I know.
Okay, what was most interesting to you about the content of the unit? For me, I thought it was all very interesting. Going into the like intensive, the VSW intensive, learning that you could bring compassion fatigue, like workshops or trainings to the employees. I thought that was really interesting because I never thought about doing that. I thought about it as like yourself. So yeah, being able to like write up a little curriculum about, basically psychoeducational, just teaching them how to take care of themselves. And then, like the 7 ways to improve your resilience, teaching them all about all that stuff, and like about the diet and the sleep and mindfulness, meditation, and just, I think it would be very informational and helpful for people in a veterinary clinic, as well as anybody working in a traumatic setting like you with the child abuse, Shannon. So I just thought that was interesting.
I thought it was last week that we read about like lab mice in animal research, and I just never really like considered their rights and like what happens to them and what they're being used for, and that they can just be like genetically modified so that an entire like litter, I guess, is like blind or has a certain like disease, just so they can like test certain things on it to see if they work or don't work. And it just like really sat with me in a way that I never considered before, because I don't know, I just don't really think about mice and rodents. And then it made me think about like insects and like their rights, and do they have rights? I mean, I'm still going to crush a spider when I see it in my house, but I'm going to think twice about it.
Yes! I totally agree with you.
Yeah. So that
and
was
like the numbers in Herzog's book about how many mice get killed like in a day, or like even in a week, it just blew my mind. And I had no idea that they could genetically modify these animals so that they have cancer or so that they have these diseases.
Yeah.
And
just like growing from a petri dish. Like,
yes, it's so sad and like mind blowing, because we don't think about this because it's not in front of our face. But
yeah. And most people too, like if they saw a mouse in their house, they'd want to kill it or like get rid of it. Whereas I've always had like gerbils and hamsters like as a kid, so they don't bother me. I would just catch it and let it go. But I don't know. And just like by law, they're not considered animals. And like, why is that? Like, what? It is an animal. It is. But, it's just so sad.
So, yeah. As far as most interesting, I found the compassion fatigue. Of course, that's big in this field, and the need for social support. Me personally, I'm very hard on myself. Not perfect by any means, but if I know I do something wrong, I'm worse off on myself than, let's say, a supervisor or whoever. Even as a child, I was like that. Like if I knew I was going to get in trouble, I was worse on myself than my parents were. So that's just something that I'm learning to deal with. Talked about learning to let go of control, eliminate perfectionism, and prior experiences or whatever. So I felt like that was most interesting, especially going into this field, and that kind of piggybacks off of the application to practice. The need to take care of yourself and have those social supports, and to prevent compassion fatigue in the field. We're just now starting, so we have a lot to learn.
Definitely.
Agreed.
What was least interesting? I don't know what was least interesting. I can't think of anything right now. I was gonna say the sleep thing personally for me, just because just because I love sleep and I get like 8 hours, if not more, every night. Because I'm like such a baby and I go to bed so early. But I need it. I know my body and I know I need the sleep. Otherwise I'll be so cranky in the morning.
I'm the same way, but I feel like I don't get enough. Like every night I could say I'm gonna go to bed at 9 o'clock, or I'm gonna go to bed, let's say by 10. It never happens. It never happens. So that's my daily struggle.
Yes, that is something we have to continue to work with.
Right.
I feel like I don't get enough sleep, but then the times when I can sleep in, I overdo it, and I'll sleep until like 1:30 and just waste the day away, like doing nothing. At that point, it's like, well, it's 1:30, like I missed breakfast. I'm not really hungry for lunch. Like, I'll just watch TV till I'm hungry. So, I don't know. Whatever. But, off topic. My least interesting part of the unit was about like the mirror neurons and oxytocin. I just have never really found that interesting, especially in my like psychology courses, like about neurotransmitters and stuff. I just always got a little lost. But at first, to the like stress and nutrition, I couldn't really tell where it was going. And once we finished that like part, I think it was Unit 5, I understood like it was talking about like, you know, how we manage stress in a high burnout career, and what we can do. And we see that in others too. So I started to like it after that. But.
I can agree with you on the least interesting, the neurotransmitters and the mirror neurons. I guess part of psychology as far as the sleep cycle, I really found interesting. But this, I don't know. I just felt like I was the only one in the class, you know, in like general psych that got lost in that area. So I know it's important and we should definitely know about that in practice, but it's just not the most interesting for me.
And I think it's good just to read about it, but like we're gonna ever tell clients or, you know, coworkers, your neurotransmitters aren't working correctly. You know, I feel like that's just information for us, and not, yeah. So we don't have to really retain that, in my opinion. But I thought the BDNF, I don't know, it's something to do with the stress. I thought that was kind of cool. All right. And how will we apply this content in our personal life? Obviously, in many ways, because it will impact us. Compassion fatigue, burnout, secondary trauma, you know, all that stuff is going to impact us or our clients, if working with populations who have PTSD, or, you know, any population that we're going to be working with is going to be vulnerable, and we'll have to be able to deal with it ourselves and be able to take ourselves out of the situation. Like, leave our work at work. Don't bring it home with us. And that's like one of the biggest things that I have to work on, because it's hard to come home and not think about the stories or life events that you've heard from clients, and not let that impact you. So just having a self-care plan, or just knowing what to do when you are feeling stressed or who to talk to, is important for our field.
I don't know but I learned so much about what and contributes to like compassion fatigue, and knowing that we need to maintain like our sleep and exercise and diet and stress levels, social support, and having like a relaxation or creative like outlet. What you said, like we're gonna need a self-care plan if we're gonna last in the field. Just kind of knowing where your limits are and what you need to change within your life that you won't burn out.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Hello? Okay. She started breaking up like halfway through, so I thought it was my phone or my internet connection. I can't even.
It keeps breaking up.
Yeah.
We lost her. All right, let's wait.
Oh,
She's gonna log back in. I bet.
yeah.
Hi. Hi. I'm still recording.
That was our last question.
She sort of answered it.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it's my internet. Well, how long have we been at it? 19 minutes?
Plenty of time.
All right, I'm going to stop recording.